shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds, shot 13 for 16 to lead Memphis past the Bulls last week, 142, 131. Can we play some defense? Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, in segment one, we talk NBA and all the things happening in the NBA, including some possible changes to the All-Star game again. Segment two, we talk about men's college basketball and the best and worst thing we have to do every year. Sorry, Coach Franchise. We've got to talk about net rankings, Mike, and explain it to everybody and see why your team better win this holiday tournament or else it's going to come back and haunt you. And in segment three, it's the women's game and a lot going on with that. But first, top six, Eastern Conference, Cleveland, Boston, Knicks, Magic, Heat, and Bucks. On the outside looking in, we've got the Bulls, the Pistons, the Hawks, and the Hornets, and some Eastern Conference notes. LaMelo Ball is the third youngest player in NBA history and the first in Charlotte Hornets history with 50 points and 10 assists in the game. And a special note to Jared McCain. It's great to believe in yourself, but it's November. Save the trash talking until March, okay? So with that, our favorite team leader is on with us, Mike King. Mike, any thoughts on the Eastern Conference this week?
So my power rankings, I'd have Boston above Cleveland because Boston beat them. They've recently. I know they got more losses, but they lost, in overtime by 3. They lost by 1. They lost to the Warriors. So it's not like they're losing anything bad. And in the end, we know Boston, once the playoffs hit, I don't think Boston's scared of Cleveland. So I would just swap them. The Magic have been real impressive because they're doing this without their best player. So got to give the Magic some credit. It looks like they've got a squad. But the Knicks being at 3 tell you everything you need to know about the Eastern Conference.
And that is a good segue to the Western Conference. Here we go. Golden State, OKC, Houston, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. On the outside looking in, Phoenix Suns, Mavericks, and the Memphis Grizzlies, along with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Some notes for the Western Conference. Hey, message to Fred VanVleet. It's not worth it. Okay? Please, you're going to find out in your pocket before the holidays that it's not worth fussing over officiating to that point. Victor Wembanyama is a problem. And shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds, shot 13 for 16 to lead Memphis past the Bulls last week, 142, 131. Can we play some defense? Mike, any thoughts on the Western Conference?
I mean, the Clippers, unfortunately, even without, they could have injuries. It doesn't matter. They play good defense, and they're killing my draft pick because that picks the Thunders. So that stinks. The Mavs are 9, but we all know that once this gets going, they're going to be a problem. So they're a team you're not going to want to play in the first round if they don't have the record that reflects what they're going to do. Warriors have been really impressive. OKC, I've loved seeing how they survived the storm with playing 6'6" center, and their point guard was their center. And they survived. And they weathered the storm. Then Hartenstein came back. One game back, he had 15, 14, 4 blocks. He was kind of dominating as off the bench there. So they finally have a center. They just gotta weather the storm until Chet comes back in 3 months. And boy, in the playoffs, Hartenstein and Chet, if they're both healthy, I really think that could be a real problem for the West. But got to give the Warriors the credit. They look like the best team at the moment.
Yes, and I will agree to that. However, it's a long season, and I'm like, enjoy. All right. So we got 2 stories this week, Mike. One, Cleveland is hard-boiled. And 1920 slang, Mike is a social studies teacher, so he knows what it means to say hard-boiled in the 20s. Just means fans that they're tough and strong. So 2022, 2023, they had a first-round playoff loss, gentleman sweep to the Knicks. 2023, 2024, they made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Gentlemen sweep to Boston. They made a coaching change. And here's the thing. Cleveland has a vision. They have a plan, and they have total buy-in. They got guys already under contract, so nobody's playing for money this year because you already got your money. Next year's another story. And here's their plan. They drafted well, they signed good free agents, and now they're playing a style of play conducive to the roster they have, not the style of roster they want. And with that, they are off to a great start. Now, we'll see how long they keep this thing going. But man, I've got to tell you, I'm impressed with Cleveland because I've seen them over the last 3 years as this show's gone on get better. Mike, any thoughts on Cleveland, sir?
I mean, you got to give them credit. They're blowing out the teams they should blow out, and when they play good teams, they've done pretty well. They lost to the Celtics in a close one, but they blew out the Warriors. And Warriors again at the moment look like they're one of the better teams. They're playing great basketball. But like you said before, it's early.
It's early. It's early. It's very early. But these wins do count, and that's the thing. Once we hit the All-Star, actually, once we hit Christmas, when people start paying attention, you want that lead spotted because you don't want to be Philly. You don't want to be the 76ers because then they got to play every night. And we joke about the 65 game club because it's true. Nobody wants to play every night. So now you got to climb up. So Golden State starting well, Lakers starting well helps them as they go on in the season. But if you start slow, good luck with that. But Mike, I want to close this segment talking about the All-Star game changes. First of all, I grew up caring about the All-Star game. Man, that was must-see TV. I loved every bit of the All-Star game. Then they made it All-Star weekend and the dunk contest and the three contest and all of that. And now I don't even know when it's on. And if it wasn't for doing the show, I wouldn't be paying attention right now. The NBA has a new 4-team tournament-style format for the 2025 All-Star game. It's expected to have 2 semifinal games played to 40. Check ball, Mike. The NBA All-Star game is now check ball, with the winning team advancing to the finals matchup playing to 25. Okay. So with that, we're looking at 3 teams of 8, and then whoever wins the rookie game. Mike, what are we doing?
You got to try something because what you have is not working. I'll say the NHL does something kind of similar with your divisions or your teams. So you have a bunch of teams, they play each other, and so you have 4 teams, they play semis and then a final. And it's actually kind of interesting. I kind of like it that way because your big rivals end up being all on the same team. So that's something different. Again,
they won't do U.S. versus the world because that's too competitive. And Mike, we talk about these things. The ratings are down, man.
Yeah, you got to try something. I'm all for trying something. If it works, great. If it doesn't, try something else. But we know the All-Star game in its present form doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good way to end it. All right, fans, when we get back in segment 2, all men's college basketball, and we're going to talk net rankings. And Somewhere Franchise has just used some words we can't use on the air because the rankings. We'll be right back on the Outcoach Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful anecdotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasaveproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Outcoaches Podcast in segment 2. We're going to introduce the net rankings to you. So we're going to put the overall top fives and mid-majors and everything on the side this week to really focus on net rankings. And yeah, you're going to need to know this. So first of all, what are net rankings? Net rankings serve as the primary sorting tool for Division I men's basketball. They play an important role in establishing a team's resume. So when we get to March and your favorite teams aren't making it, it's because of what they did or didn't do throughout the entire season in terms of net rankings. The men's and women's net rankings and team sheets will be provided publicly on a daily basis on ncaa.com and ncaa.org starting in December. So again, we're helping you learn what to look for. The net includes more components than just winning percentage. It takes into account game results, strength of schedule, game location, net offense and defensive efficiency. Yeah, there's some stat geeks out there. And the quality of wins and losses. It's both a results-driven and predictive metric. And Mike and I are teachers, and we're data-driven in terms of how we do instruction. Game data and game order are not included. Let me tell you again, game data and game date and game order are not included. So stop telling me that you won 5 out of your last 7 at the end of the season, because the first game counts as much as the last game. Again, don't tell me you won 10 out of 12. You're going to hear that trash on the news, and they know it doesn't matter. So now, let me introduce quads to you. The quadrant system is in its 4th year, and it's the quality of wins and losses, and it's organized based on game location and opponents' net rankings. Quad 1. So if you play a team at home that's ranked 1 through 30, if you play them on a neutral site, ranked 1 through 50, if you play them away, ranked 1 through 75, those are good wins. Quad 2, home. If you play them at home, 31 to 75, neutral, 51 to 100, and away 76 to 135. That's a quad 2 win. And we're talking about rankings. Okay. Quad 3, home 76 to 160, neutral 101 to 200, away 135 to 240, and then quad 4, home 161 to 353, neutral 201 to 353, and away 41 to 353. So the number of quad 1 wins and quad 3 and 4 losses really play a difference and really have an impact when you see what's going on come NCAA tournament time. And this is why we leave a lot of bum teams out. Okay. So no one cares that you're 5-5 in conference or whatever it is. If you lost to Grand Valley State in the beginning of the year, it's going to come back and haunt you. So with that, Mike, how do you feel about the net rankings now that once again we've explained them for our audience?
I've known about it for a bit, and I'm concerned knowing Maryland took a really weak schedule, so they're not going to have any of those like quality wins out of conference. Like, you have to look at it, and the really smart coaches,
Michigan State,
they find like those. Can I get some away teams that are in that like 50 to 75 range that counts as a good win, even though they're not that good of a team? Because 50 to 75, I mean, if you're a good team, you could play a bunch of those kind of teams, get all these quality 1 wins. So yeah, you have to know the metrics and predict how teams are going to be and kind of schedule correctly. And if you don't, and at the end of the year, you don't have those quality wins and you just beat a bunch of bums and you don't get in, again, I can't feel bad for you. Everyone knows the rules. Schedule better.
Yes. All right. So fans, with that, it's like you got to bookmark this episode, because in March, there's going to be some crying. And we're going to say, we told you, but you didn't listen to us. So in segment 3, we're going to talk women's game and big loss by USC too. Be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Save Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us and empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. Just like the men's, for this week, we're going to, we're not going to worry about the rankings with the women's team, but the story of the week, I want to talk about Unrivaled. Mike and I watched women's game, and we just both thought it missed opportunities last year. So we're trying to hope that the WNBA and the women's college game kind of string all of this together. So Unrivaled is finally set. The league is divided. They've got this 6 pods of wings, guards, and forwards, but Caitlin's not playing. And I wish she was, because I'd like to see her in a competitive kind of manner. The games will begin in January, and they're all played inside in Miami. The total salary pool for the 36 players is more than $8 million. So the women do not have to go to Europe to make money. They can make money here. And Miami in the winter, pretty nice place to be. Players also receive equity in the league. The league also announced a multi-year partnership with TNT and its sports platforms to show more than 45 games, so we can get to know people. We can tell stories. Matchups will be shown 3 nights a week, with twice weekly games on TNT on Mondays and Fridays. Games on Saturday will be shown on True TV, which you don't look at until the NCAA tournament. Mike, any thoughts on Unrivaled?
It's a great idea, and it's only going to help people watch this. Then they're going to watch the WNBA. It's people watch WNBA, then they'll watch this. It's just better for the sport in general. Kind of disappointed Caitlin Clark wants to take a break, but again, when you're becoming like the face of the league, I think you got to have a responsibility to put some things before rest. I think you take the rest next year, but this year you kind of get this thing started, get more eyeballs. But so disappointed in that. But there's plenty of talent. It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, and I want to also mention this week that we have a changing college and WNBA landscape. For the second time in a couple of weeks, the WNBA has hired a college coach. When the Los Angeles Sparks named Lynn Roberts as their new head coach. Roberts spent the past 9 seasons at Utah and was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year in 2023. As we mentioned last week, the Atlanta Dream hired Carl Zemecko, who coached at Florida Gulf Coast and runs a high-octane, all-three and layup type offense. So when you have younger players coming into the league, I think it's really important to have coaches that kind of can relate to the younger players. I thought part of the problem we had last year was not knowing how to deal with younger players with attitude, spice, and sauciness. Mike, any thoughts on the WNBA moving to the college coaching ranks for their next group of coaches coming in?
Again, I think it's positive for the WNBA that college coaches are looking at that as a more potential stable career moving forward. Obviously, it wasn't very stable for the coaches this past offseason, but before, there was no reason to go to the WNBA. I could stay in this job for 20-something years and make it, good salary. WNBA is you buy, what is it? Buy low, sell high. And right now, if you can get in on the ground floor here when it's about to really get going, I think it makes a lot of sense for some college coaches right now to jump in thinking, boy, if this works out the way it looks like it's going to work out, this can be very, very lucrative for me. And if it doesn't, you always go back to college.
You can always go back to college.
A lot of schools for jobs. So I think it's smart for the coaches. Honestly, I think you could be getting in on the ground floor of something special, make a lot of money as the league and the players and everybody starts to make a lot more money.
All right. So, fans, this comes out Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And as we close, I want to invite you to join us for Giving Tuesday, a day dedicated to doing good and creating change. At the CK Save Project, we are about empowering student athletes to find a better balance between academics and athletics. Many student athletes face real challenges, rising college entrance requirements in terms of academics, limited academic support, and juggling goals that are on field, on court goals, and off court goals. And that's where we come in at the CK Save Project. Through our programs and resources, we help young student athletes succeed academically, athletically, and personally using our holistic approach. But we can't do it without your support. Your donation to our program ensures us that we can continue to provide critical tools and services student athletes need to survive and thrive in an ever complex and changing world. So this Giving Tuesday, let's make a difference together. Visit us on the web at www.cksaveproject.org and help us empower the next generation of student athletes. Thank you for your generosity, and let's do this. So on behalf of our favorite team leader, Mike King, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches Podcast. We will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.cksaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@cksaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches Podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches Podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.cksaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.